Peace. This is Star with the Star Blooms. Just a quick message to add on to what I had earlier. One of the cards that came out at the end was about earth grounding, as well as hold on, y'all. One of the last cards that came out was about earth grounding, as well as self love and mindset. So with earth grounding, it basically says calm the mind, connect to the body, mindfulness and nurture. The self love card, these cards is they kind of explicit. Y'all can't show them, okay? The self love card basically says self acceptance, self care, compassion, and vulnerability. And then the mindset card says create reality, work with subconscious, and befriend the mind. So a couple of the things that I recognized when I was wanting to understand how do we acclimate to Daughter Earth's new energy and what is it that we could do at this time? What modalities can we use at this time to aid us in continuing to progress in our ascension, recognizing that a new layer is basically being, I believe it's being opened up to us, but I believe it's also being perceived by us because we now understand fully that we are programmable. We have to be in an intensified rate of making sure that we are in alignment with that which is for our highest good. One of the things that popped up was recognizing how important it is to ground. Sometimes it'd be difficult for us to know where we could start at with grounding. Um, because it just is, we believe that we have to do a whole lot. If you can get outside because the weather has been crazy, right? You could do something as simple as 152, thank you, Spirit. You could do something as simple as breathing into your root chakra, taking a second to allow yourself to clear your mind, protecting yourself by putting yourself in a sphere of the highest vibrational frequency of light. You could choose white, blue, um, purple, right? And allowing yourself to intentionally connect to your root chakra. Your root chakra, y'all, is going to be at the base, all right, of like your spine, okay? And you could basically just close your eyes and intentionally allow the breath to go all the way down to like your diaphragm and hold it there and then release it. And you can make this a pattern of doing this. Why is it so important? A lot of the times we don't recognize that a lot of us are connecting to spirit. And because we're connecting to spirit, you're operating from an altered state of awareness, all right? Why is this important? When you are operating from an altered state of awareness, you must remain grounded in order for you to be a clear channel, in order for your message to be evidential, and to be relayed without any as least interferences as possible. Grounding is important. So put these things, going outside for a walk, all right? Exercising sometimes could be grounding. It's so crazy. But there's a lot of ways that you could ground. Breathing into the root chakra is one of them. Recognizing also the thought of power, thought, mindset was one of the cards. Literally, one of the very last cards was mindset. You can't see that, y'all. And then this card came out at the end, but it was basically talking about mindset. And I thought it was crazy because I channeled a second ago before I was able to look at these cards that had fell out. Mindset, not mindset, the thought power. Thought power speaks about telepathy, speaks about our ability to not just be mindful of our thoughts and where they're going, but also recognizing that we have the ability to send thoughts to communicate without having to basically lower the vibrations by opening it out and speaking it out loud. Also, being of service at this time is so vital and important because a lot of people are so interested in, activating their gifts, being in one nice and beautiful cohesiveness with their gifts, as they believe that it is, a part of them and not something that they're putting on. Being of service comes with that. A lot of the times we sit in spaces waiting for our purpose to basically reveal itself to us. A lot of us who are on these, soul journeys, recognizing that we have a soul mission, right? A lot of us understand that it isn't necessarily always in the completion of you know, having a full awareness of, having a full understanding, full overstanding. We recognize it's a journey. And there are many steps that you will take before you get to the one stance that you may have that may actually sustain you. Be willing to actually show up and participate in taking the steps by not self-sabotaging or holding yourself back, rendering yourself incapable of actually moving forward at this time. And then one of the key things that popped out today for me was clairaudience. A lot of the times we don't recognize that the gift of inner hearing, allowing ourselves to be in wholeness with the voice that we may basically be perceiving at this time. It could be a voice that we hear outwardly. It could be a voice that we hear inwardly. A voice that we hear outwardly a lot of the times comes to us in a voice that we may recognize. Sometimes it's not something that is familiar. When it's internally, you're going to be hearing your voice with the perceived messages. And I believe a lot of the times it comes through this way because it is a way of allowing you to be in a space of comfort when you are receiving these messages. You are being helped and guided at this time. Soul led is what I'm hearing through these soul initiations. Please do not fret. Do not allow yourself to get overwhelmed in belief that you aren't where you need to be. Create a divine flow that will basically aid you at this time. Are there any other messages right now, Spirit? Okay, I think that's enough, y'all. Okay. All right. I had 5 cards pop out real quickly. I think I got enough time. The first card that popped out is beautiful. It says divine abundance. You were born to align with love's will. Follow the Tao and serve something beyond the ego. Learn to be abundant and not chase it. I shall to that. Okay. The next card is extraordinary. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. That's that authentic measure of showing up in your self light and not dispelling or dismantling your true authentic self. Why? Because you are being liberated. In liberation, the doubts and fears still come up. You don't believe anymore that they you. So it's almost like you were never meant to actually avoid the journey. You were never meant to avoid the storm. 727. You were meant to learn how to cultivate in the midst of it, having the tools that are necessary for you to move forward at this time. That is big, deepening. Once you're on earth for enough lifetimes, your old soul will begin to long for non-grasping, detachment, and surrender. They bring the peace of God in what? In everything good. Make sure that it continues to carry, honor, and harness God's peace, because that is what will keep you during your path. I was about to say that, y'all. So your path. Dear Lord, help me trust. I don't say Lord, but y'all get the gist. We just gonna read the card. Dear Most High, help me trust that there's a plan far beyond what I can see through my fears and illusions. I think Spirit was dead on with the message, y'all. We have the opportunity right now to not be in fear, to not even be beat up in this energy, to not be weighed down in this energy, because we have chance to actually show up. Yeah, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Chance to actually show up right now, recognizing the win that's actually occurred. Why? Because a lot of y'all are now aware that you aren't actually in the journey of getting to something. You're remembering who it is that you are. Okay? And in remembrance, there's a clear, a righteous stance that you're going to take with it. All right. This is your action. This is how you're going to show up. When you think about masculine energy, you thinking about, I see the 10 of Pentacles. I'm going to leave it alone, y'all. Listen, Spirit is very clear right now. All right. You're not at the space that you thought that you would be in. However, you're not at where you were at last year at the same time. Give yourself grace, recognizing what is actually transpiring. Use the tools that you've cultivated. Take the knowledge that you've ascertained and apply it. Applied wisdom is what wisdom really, really, really comes into be. You don't have wisdom and hold it and hoard it, y'all. We're not dragons, okay? Allow ourselves to be in this physical rate, but doing it in a spiritual reality. Get familiar with the universal laws at this time and move accordingly. I love y'all. Hope y'all have a dope day. Peace.